One of my favorite images in all the Bible comes from the fourth chapter of the second letter to the church in Corinth. In it, the Apostle Paul writes, "We have this treasure in clay jars, so that it may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and does not come from us." It was a Christian rock band called Jars of Clay that turned me on to this metaphor back in the days when I listened to Christian rock bands. Still, what is so arresting about the comparison of Christians to clay jars is the simple fact that clay jars are fragile. They crack and break easily, and yet they hold this treasure. I have a coffee cup that my wife gave me before we were married. We've been married for 23 years. And this coffee cup has a crack running up the side. This little fissure has been there for longer than it hasn't. And every time I pour my morning coffee into it, I wonder if this is the day that the side of that mug splits open along that crack and spills treasure all over my lap. But still, I use it. It holds more treasure than just coffee, as I'm sure you understand. I'm Rocky Suppinger, and I'm glad to welcome you to this experience of Rhythm and Word, a weekly time of music and Bible reflection from Fourth Presbyterian Church. I'm one of the pastors here, and I've been leading our June series of videos focused on renewal. We've heard these past 3 weeks about the renewing of our minds, the renewal of our strength, and the renewal of our youth. Today is our final video in this series. I hope that you are renewed by this time, that you are encouraged and strengthened for the living of your faith in these days. A little bit further on from the treasure in clay jars bit, 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, "We do not lose heart. Even though our outer nature is wasting away, our inner nature is being renewed day by day. For our slight momentary affliction is producing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all measure, because we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal." Do you experience your outer nature to be wasting away? It's a part of life, right? Things break down over time, sometimes unexpectedly and with surprising speed. And while it's one thing to know that, to understand that, to even come to accept that, it's another thing to wall that reality off from the other parts of us, what the scripture calls our inner nature. We are not so easily divided up. The things that we experience in our outer nature directly affect our inner nature. Our thoughts and emotions are directly connected to our arms and our legs, and the influence of the one upon the other works in both directions. I'm not sure these verses are speaking to a mind-body dualism, so much as they're affirming the very good news that is at the heart of the gospel, that God is working through the written off and overlooked and apparently insignificant material of creation to bring about new life. Treasure in clay jars. The power of God made perfect in human weakness. The foolishness of God shaming the wisdom of this age. A mustard seed. A measure of yeast. A cross. Again and again, the images the Bible employs to illustrate God's power are themselves things that might commonly be regarded as weak or small, insufficient, or embarrassing. And yet, there is life happening when yeast interacts with sugar. You won't see it, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Life is breaking out whenever a tiny mustard seed hits the ground and splits open, though it's not life that you can see. Just so, even as our outer nature of arms and legs, hair and teeth, muscle and sinew and tissue is undeniably breaking down and wasting away day by day, life is nonetheless being renewed in us in the presence of all of that, day by day. We probably won't recognize that renewal, I don't think, because I don't think it's a feeling. I'm hesitant to equate the renewal of God with something I can detect in my own experience, a pep I feel in my step, or some measure of clarity I unexpectedly find in my thinking, some mindfulness or inner peace. Rather, I'm persuaded that the renewal God is carrying out in us day by day is more subterranean than all that. And it certainly isn't waiting for our awareness of it to do its work. It is, to use another biblical phrase, a mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Mystery. Maybe that's the best last word to give to this series of reflections on renewal. Mystery, something given as a gift, yet also something that we work and wait for. Renewal, a power that animates our limbs and our minds. New life at work within us, though we don't even know it. Renewal, mystery. Thanks be to God for the mystery of renewal, today and always. Let us pray.
May the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. And may sunshine and happiness surround you when you're far from home. And may you grow to be proud, dignified and true. And do unto others as you'd have done to you. Be courageous and be brave, and in my heart you'll always stay. Forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young. May good fortune be with you, guiding life be strong. Build a stairway to heaven with a prince or a vagabond. And may you never love in vain, and in my heart you will remain. Forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young, forever young. And when you finally fly away, I'll be hoping that I served you well. For all the wisdom of a lifetime, no one can ever tell. Lord, whatever